And we're back. I love catching Jerry like that.
Are we on? We're on.
We are on. We are both starting to look like the hair salon's been closed for a while and our razor's not working. And
I was going to do the COVID challenge and see how long I can grow this, but I don't think I can handle that.
In the last couple of years, the longest I've let mine go is probably a couple of weeks, and it's like there's like a lot there to deal with, and when getting the electric razor to it, it's a painful mess to pull off. So
yeah, mine doesn't get thick. Like it's not that's a beautiful looking beard. It's kind of like I'm going to grow in here. I'm going to grow in here. I'm not going to grow in here. I'm going to skip this, and so yeah, I can't ever make it look. I can't make it look beautiful.
Nice. So today on Wedding Chat, by the way, welcome to Wedding Chat, everybody.
Welcome.
Dave Ternier from Special Request Weddings up in Manitoba, Canada.
And I'm Jeremy Brech, DJ Jer in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We had a beautiful day yesterday. It was like in the 70s, which is like, I don't know, what is that, 40 for you guys?
No. 70 is way colder than that. 70 minus 32 is 38. 38 divided by 1.8. That's 21 degrees. You guys didn't have 70 yesterday, did you?
Yeah, we did.
What?
Yeah, and now we're back down to like 40.
I wish we were 40. We had snow here again this morning.
Oh my gosh, that's why I live here.
Yeah, we've had some bizarre weather lately. Really, really weird weather lately. We got 12 inches of snow a week ago. Biggest snowstorm we've had since October last year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird. So anyway. But yeah, out and about with the kids and this type of thing. So today on the show, we are going to be chatting about favorite and not so favorite moments at weddings. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. I mean, I think we all have them. There's definitely parts that I love, like, oh my gosh, I'm excited about this part, or like this thing that we do is one of the things that really stands out to me that I think people really take away. And then there's those things where it's like, oh gosh, I got this coming up.
Okay, so let's alternate between then. So we'll both share something we like, and then we'll both jump to a moment we don't like, and we'll go back and forth and see how much time that takes up. Yeah.
No, that sounds good. Let's even talk before we start going into the actual reception or the event or the date.
Okay.
Let's start when you are first contacted by a client. Let's start there. What's the thing that you enjoy the most when a client first contacts you? What are you excited about?
Oh, for me, that's easy. I love everything about the first conversation we have, because I have this weird fascination and obsession with learning about people and who they are and, how they met and all this weird, lovey-dovey stuff. Oh, that's not even lovey-dovey stuff. I just love stories. I love storytelling. I love listening to people tell stories. And so as a result, I love asking people to divulge details of their life. And I don't know if it's the cadence to my voice or whatever it is, but people love to share that type of stuff with me. And I think people do with most people, but that's I love that exploration.
So just kind of like building that relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I hope this doesn't surprise anybody that I've spoken with. If I've had a conversation with you because you had questions about whatever, I hope that doesn't surprise you, that I probably took the time to get to know you a little bit as well. If you're watching this and we've chatted, I love learning about people.
Yeah. I think mine's a little different, but it's very similar. The thing that I really love when a client first contacts me is I love kind of, like you said, building that relationship, but just getting to meet somebody new.
Yeah.
And just, like, hey, this is exciting. This is an exciting time for them, and sharing that with them, and seeing how you can fit into what they want out of the reception or what they're planning, or those type of things. I think that's kind of the exciting thing for me, because everybody has a different story, like you said, kind of getting to know them. But how can I make their wedding that much better? How can I make it about them? And it really comes down to, like you said, kind of building that relationship. Mm-hmm. So I think that's very similar to the thing that I agree with.
Got it.
when you get that first contact, when someone reaches out to you, what's the one thing that you're like, oh, great, that means I have to.
You know what? I will say, as this might sound like it contradicts what I just said, but it doesn't, I assure you. There is always some trepidation about, will I connect with these people? Will we have fun exchanging that story? Because while most do open up to me in a fairly, positive way, sometimes that's not there. And obviously going in, I have no idea, which type of people these are going to be.
Yeah.
Right. So there is that. I guess I could default and say, gosh, I hope I hope the only thing they seem to care about is price. I guess there's a little bit of that too, but that's become less of a concern of mine over the years, because if I can just have a conversation of value with them, hopefully they can take away some value even if they don't hire me.
Yeah.
But I think there's just always there's always a little apprehension. God, I hope we really click. God, am I going to know what they look like when they walk into wherever we happen to be meeting at?
Right.
Is it going to be that awkward? Oh, that's them over there. Hi, you two. Oh, I'm sorry. Because yes, folks, I don't have an office where I meet my clients, and I go out and meet my people elsewhere. So what about you?
Mine, I'm going to be completely honest, is that first reach out, like that when they say, hey, they send you an email or they send you, like we use DJP and we get that first, requesting more information. I'm not the type of person where I'm like, I'm going to call them up right now. I'm going to see when we can set up a meeting. I'm like the complete opposite. I truthfully, and this is terrible of me. So if you're taking anything away from this, don't do what I do. I hate calling people. I hate having to call them and say, hey, you reached out to us. Love to touch base with you. Tell me a little bit about your reception. So a lot of mine is just like email and, just a system that we have built in DJP. And truthfully, we could probably doing a lot more sales if I was actually reaching out to these people. So I think it's just that, and it's my own fault. We are, before everything happened, we had reached out or we put a thing on Facebook saying, hey, we're looking for a salesperson. We need someone to, reach out and make contact with people
Right.
because that's what I lack. And it's because my schedule is crazy and I'm in the middle of something and all of a sudden I get this inquiry and I'm supposed to, call them up. And so I'm just like, okay, push to email.
Right.
So, just think how successful we could be if I was actually calling people. That's my biggest, it's a terrible thing. That's my biggest thing. I need to be I need to be a lot better at that.
Maybe I should apply for that job once things get going again.
So come on down. I will take you.
Well, no, I don't need to be there though. I can just be, if it's a matter of calling and setting up appointments for you and your team.
Okay, but if you had Glenn Mackay, if you had his Australian accent, it would be so much easier for us to close sales.
Yeah, I got you, mate. That's fine.
That sounds good enough. It's better than what I can do.
I've got it. So wedding day arrives. We could talk about planning and yada, 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 but let's get right to the meat and potatoes. So
okay.
Wedding reception arrives. We can talk ceremony briefly if you want as well. Why don't we do a favorite and a not so favorite moment from ceremony first, and then we'll jump to reception. You're involved in what percentage of ceremonies?
I probably do 30, maybe 40%. I personally will do a ceremony. It seems like my team does a lot more ceremonies than with their service than I personally do.
I'm 60 plus percent, maybe even 70-ish percent. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can admit that number has grown tremendously in the last, 5 years.
Yeah.
I bet we maybe did 20% before, maybe 15%. And I would say, globally, I bet we're seeing more of, like you said, that 60% plus.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So do a lot of your venues have ceremony areas on site?
No.
So you're in a park or?
Very few of them, yeah. Most ceremonies are off-site. They're either, out in a park or they're out in a field or they are just somewhere separate, yeah.
Sure. And one of the things, and this shows you like how much adaptation the wedding venue industries in our market, and I think a lot of other markets have seen, is they've adapted to knowing that people aren't doing so many church ceremonies anymore,
Right.
and they are going to be out in the gardens, or so we see a lot of venues that are actually creating these garden areas and these places to set up seating and this arch and all this kind of stuff. It just shows you that they're making those adaptations because they see those trends. And with you as an entertainment company, you need to step up your game for your ceremony sound systems, your microphones, all that stuff, because your services are going to be more important. And I can tell you what, you screw up a ceremony, and there's a good chance they could even just ask for all of their money back because you ruined their vows, or you ruined that walk down the aisle. So having stellar equipment for the ceremony is just as important as it is for the reception.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So I think that, when you asked what's the most exciting part, my most exciting part is because oh my gosh, man, I remember this. I will never forget this moment. When I got married, Sarah and I did not see each other before we didn't take pictures before the actual ceremony.
Right, likewise.
And so seeing her come down the aisle for the first time, man, I remember that moment. And I remember that feeling. I remember it felt like my tux was 3 times too small. But that moment of seeing her come down the aisle is the one moment I will never forget. And so when I get to see a groom's reaction, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love seeing the bride's reaction or her walking down with her dad, those type of things, because I got 3 daughters. You got daughters. You know what that moment's going to be like for us as dads. But to see the groom, see his wife or his future wife for the first time as she's walking down the aisle, by far the most amazing moment.
Got it.
There's times I want to just sit there with my camera phone and just take pictures, but I'm like, dude, if I screw this up.
Yeah. For me, favorite moment of ceremonies is, and I insist that my couples all do this. I don't always win, but when they're delivering personally written vows to each other, there's that little moment of them getting caught up or choked up or something, or maybe that little bit of humor that nobody expected that just brought the house down. Love the delivery of vows to one another. One of my favorite moments, and I fight tooth and nail to make sure my couples, if at all possible, are not just doing like a simple repeat after me, or just our officiants are supplying us with vows. I'm like, no, stop, no.
If I could go back and do something different for my wedding, it would have been, I wish I would have wrote our own vows.
Likewise. And Kat would have killed me if I would have made her do it, by the way.
She would have.
But absolutely one of my regrets as well. Yeah. So that's my favorite moment.
That's horrible. What about ceremony? So ceremony dread. What do you dread?
So ceremony dread. God, I hope too many people don't cringe at this, but I'm always hoping my microphones will work properly.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need to get one of those big antenna things or whatever. I run Shure SLX series microphones, and maybe I need to jump over to some EV stuff or whatever. But geez, I mean, sometimes even 100 feet away, I'm like, no, this should be working. This should be working. This should be working. Like, why is it not working? And I mean, thankfully it's just tiny little dropouts. But for the most part, everything works fine, but that's my biggest dread all the time.
Yeah, and it's getting harder because there's so much technology that shows up at the reception or at the ceremony. So you have all these people coming with cell phones, and next thing you know, all these frequency bands are getting filled up, and you're like, I tested this before, it worked fine.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, you run into those little, like you said, the little clicks or little dropouts.
Yeah.
My biggest thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say the cell phone thing on my checklist for, before I tell the bride and groom, okay, our processional's ready to go. On my checklist of required things I have to check is that the groom's cell phone is on airplane mode if it's with him, and same with the officiant. I don't want those devices being so close to the transmitting units of those microphones.
I always tell them, I said, take it out of your pocket. You don't need it. You're not going to take a call up there.
True that. That's true. That's true. Go ahead now.
So the thing that I dread is, and man, I love helping people out. Don't get me wrong. But when you get a videographer that comes to you and says, hey, can I plug into your sound? And it's like, yes, you can. I have an XLR out. I have a 1/4 inch out. I have an RCA out. What do you need? And they're like, well, I don't have the cable. I don't have what do you mean? What do I, it's, and I think it's just because, again, they might be friends of the family, or they might be, and they're trying to be professional. I think that's our biggest thing. And I mean, typically now, I will actually bring a voice recorder. Like, actually, here's the one that we use. I will bring one of these, and I will say, you know what? I will capture your audio for you, and I will give you the audio clip. Because we've had so many people that are like, I need to capture the audio. I'm like, you're right, you do need to capture the audio. And I think it's just the sense of being unprepared. Because I mean, we prepare so much. I mean, I know you do, we do, and for one little person or for one little thing, and they want to do this like 5 minutes before the bride's coming down,
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we got to do sound checks. We got to, you got to make sure that your officiant mic. So when we do sound checks, and in our planning form, it says, do you have a videographer? Do they need to connect into sound? So on and so on. Most of the time, the videographer is like, no, I don't need to. But then they realize that, oh, wait, I need to for the ceremony, not the reception.
Right.
So, I think there's just a miscommunication. That's why we always ask for people to, if you have a videographer, put their phone number in there, have them reach out to me. So that way we know that they're covered and they know that they're covered.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's just that sense of not being prepared.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Got it. Okay.
Other than that, South Dakota weather, that would be the other thing.
That's funny.
Do you carry a backup generator with you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah. And, there are certain places where we no matter what, we'll just have a backup generator because, either their power is sketchy. We have a couple places where their power will just cut. It'll just drop and then it'll come back on. And then basically that shuts our sound system down and we got to restart. So,
yeah.
If we have problems and we're testing, and we'll just, we'll kind of be prepared and be ready for that as well.
Yeah. Agreed. So now
cool. Ceremony's done.
Yeah. Reception.
Ceremony's done. Let's go to reception. Tell me about it.
Reception. Let's start off with a negative or a positive.
Let's start with the negative. Let's go there.
Brilliant.
We want to end on a happy note.
That's where I was at. That's where I was leaning.
Awesome.
One of the, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but saying the very first words on the microphone before I welcome everybody petrifies the hell out of me.
Really?
Every time. That microphone, it is being flicked on and off 2 or 3 times before I have the guts to welcome everybody, blah, 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 blah.
That is hilarious.
It's
I never expected that from you.
Oh, I've never told you that before? Oh man,
No.
It kills me. Like I'm like thinking in my head, okay. I'm like, think of this person laughing, think, come on, Dave, you gotta like pull that crap together, Dave. Come on, man. And yeah, it's dreadful. Eats away at me every time. Once I get those first few words out, then I'm okay. But yeah, it just petrifies me.
That's crazy. I never would have expected that from you.
I despise. I do not like being the center of attention, regardless of what some people might think. It is a place of uncomfort for me.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So once the bride and groom are in the room, I'm no longer the center of attention. So then I'm good. But
yeah,
that for that quick moment, you kind of are, and yeah. So yeah.
Moments that I dread. This sounds dumb. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if there's nothing that I dread. I don't know if there's anything where I'm like, oh gosh, I got to do this.
Liar.
There's things where I'm like, I could do without this. Like the dollar dance, for instance.
Oh yeah.
Dollar dances are popular in our area. And it's just one of those things where it's like, great, okay, everybody, now we're going to give everybody the opportunity to go home. And, it's like the one moment where I'm like, I just want to keep the party going. I just want to keep things going. I guess the only other thing would be, and I love when people give requests, but when people come up and they say, "We're going to play my song," you know, we all get it. We all get the, "Are you going to play my song next? Hey, I got to go home. Can you play my song?"
Yeah. And
again, I think maybe this is just an American thing. We're so entitled, like, "Hey, I want to hear my song. You're going to play my song now." That is probably my biggest thing that I dread, is telling people that, you know what, I know you really want to hear your song. It just does not fit in with where the bride and groom wanted to go with their music and all this stuff. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I would say is, you know, kind of that having to turn people down from their amazing requests that they have. I think that's it. You know, there was a couple shows back that you and I did, and you talked about how you incorporate with people that come up with a request. And you're like, you know, tell me, why is that song important to you? You know, and kind of understand their story behind that. So I've been doing that, and it's, you know, it helps, but they just need to understand that their song is not more important than a bride and groom song.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, very true. Okay, so something that you really, really look forward to at a wedding. Introducing the wedding party is something I do have a blast with.
Yeah.
Love doing that.
Because now the attention is not on you and you're shifting it to them, right?
You're not wrong. Yeah, I really, really enjoy the ability to start off a party in such a unique way. You know, having, and I remember the days pre any workshops trying to do a grand entrance and, you know, thinking I was a monster truck rally announcer or something like that.
Yes.
So when I say I really love what's able to happen with grand entrances now, you know, I'm not saying not everybody watching this is going to understand the context of that, but not everybody's going to understand the context of what I mean. But yeah, it's really incredible having gone through some performance workshops now and being able to turn that into something that, you know, has it be the standout moment of a party, not because the rest of the party was no good, but it's just, you know, being able to kick it off on that high of a note is really one of the things I look most forward to.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because, you know, truthfully, my answer is going to be the personalized moments that we create for a couple. Those are my favorite. Like, I am so excited when it comes to whether it was a voiceover that we created, or it was a personalized intro, or it was a love story. You know, those cherry on tops, those are the things that I get really excited about. And we actually just posted on our, I think it was last week, we posted on our DJ Jer Facebook page, and you can go check it out. Super Balls DJ Jer, go check it out on Facebook. We did a post on, you know, the personalized intros and the pictures, the moments that we capture from creating those things. And, you know, I tagged some of my brides on there, and I said, hey, you know, do you have any pictures from your personalized intro? And some of the brides come back with, oh my gosh, that was one of our favorite parts from our wedding reception. And the thing the reason I get so excited about those is because I know the impact, and I know the moment that can be created if they allow you to be creative. So any of those creative moments that we get to build with our clients, to me, are by far, they're so exciting. I love them. Yeah,
I'm gonna give you a minute. I'm going to call you out and have you be a little more specific on that, because I'm going to go specific with one and say one of the most I most look forward to is when I have, behind the backs of my brides and grooms, reached out through parents to people unable to attend, and I've gotten surprise videos from those people for sharing at the weddings.
Cool.
Like, the anticipation that builds up in me with those moments is unreal. I mean, I remember to this day one from a couple of years ago, where it was these really fun friends of the bride and groom that couldn't attend the wedding. But thankfully, you know, when I reached out to the parents about this idea, they put me in touch with these friends who were unable to attend. And these two characters sent me this video that, you know, was all dark, but brilliantly sarcastic. And, you know, You know, they started out by saying something about, you know, okay, go ahead and look into each other's eyes, you two. Go on, go on. And you see them doing this on camera, and then you see her look back at the camera, and she says, you're looking into the eyes of the person that is most likely to kill you. And they delivered it in this way that caused the entire place to roar. And then at the end of their video, you know, the guy was like, you know, all right, we'll see you guys later. Have fun. And he gets up from the camera and walks away, and he's stark-ass naked. And let me tell you, the anticipation in me leading up to sharing that video at the reception was just through the roof. And I mean, obviously the place exploded at the end of that video, right? I mean, everybody at that moment was like, damn it, I really wish those two could be here, because they obviously know how to party. But that being able to share those surprise videos, particularly when I know they're going to have that type of impact, easily one of the moments I look forward to most.
There you go. There's your answer. This is how you get over the fear of turning on the microphone and doing your introduction for the first time, is instead of picturing everybody else naked, just go out there butt naked. And when you walk around, everyone's going to roar in laughter, and you've hit the mark. You'll be good.
That's true. That's true. That's true. So what's a specific moment that you really look forward to?
Man. I really think, well, okay, I would say it's probably the first dance. Especially again, hold on. Again, I think it also comes down to what we're doing special for that first dance. I think it's whether it is a voiceover first dance, whether it's a, you know, we don't do a lot of the surprise breakdown, you know, like they start breaking out to another song or anything like that. But when we do a voiceover and they actually have this like conversation in the middle of their first dance. We also did one a couple years back where the bride and groom, we were at the ceremony, and since we recorded the audio, I actually took their vows and I embedded it in the middle of the bridge in I'll Be by Edwin McCain. Bride and groom knew nothing about it. Nobody knew anything about it. The only person that knew anything about it was the photographer and the videographer, because I wanted them to know what part of the song this is going to happen so they could capture that moment. And to me, that was one of the most impactful moments that I've ever created for a first dance, because it was their pure words that everybody just heard about an hour ago. And laid into the song. You should have seen the bride just like lay her head into her husband's, into his shoulders, and you know, all he could do was just like embrace her, and that moment was just incredible. You can see in the back of my video, you can actually see her big brother, who is this like 6'4", you know, built bald-headed guy that lives out in California. You see him in the background as soon as that voiceover is done, and the whole crowd's just like clapping. You see him grab, I'm just going to use a piece of paper, but you see him grab his napkin, and he's like, literally wiping his eyes, which I thought was, it just shows you that it doesn't matter how strong of a person you are.
Yeah.
When there's something that is so emotional and makes such an impact, it can impact anybody. So again, those are the opportunities that I always look for when I can, and when I can create them.
It's awesome. I will say one more moment that I don't dread, but I look forward to it far, far less than before. And look, many of you might call me out as a failure for admitting this, but when my brides and grooms want to do a bouquet and garter toss, I do struggle to get super excited about those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say the garter toss, yes. Typically, to be honest, if someone says, I want to do a garter toss, like, okay, what are we going to do for it? Well, just going to take it off and toss it. I'm like, okay.
And those are the ones I'm talking about.
Think about the last wedding that you went to, where you as a gentleman were excited to go out to the dance floor to go catch this garter. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. So it's actually some of the things that we've incorporated you know, it's something that's personal to them that would make this more exciting. Garter auctions are actually a really popular thing. And if you ever see me auction, I can actually pull off a pretty mean auction.
Interesting.
So yeah, those are probably the most important, or probably the most popular things that that we incorporate with that. Otherwise, I mean, I'll usually tell them, you know, if you don't want to do this, I wouldn't. Just scratch it. If you're not excited about this, then just scratch it.
Right.
Because all you're doing is you're creating delay, and you're creating an opportunity to break the dance floor. And if your guests are having a great time, and there's times where our dance floor might be packed, and you know, I'll look at them like, you know what, everyone's having a great time. I don't even want to do the garter right now. So I'll just go up to them and say, hey, we still have to do the garter. Is it something you still want to do? Because everyone's having a great time. They're like, nah, just scratch it. We don't care.
Yep. Been there lots before too. Yep.
So
yeah, very true. Very true. Very good. Well, there's some favorite moments and some not favorite moments. I
would love to hear everybody else's dreads and you know, what do they fear or what do they hate and what do they love? Yep. I think that'd be fun to just kind of get some of those reactions, and you can always put them in the messages here. Put them in I don't even know where this all goes. Facebook, YouTube. Put those in there. I'll go back and view those, and you know, hopefully we can bring those back up and bring those people on sometime.
That would be fun. That would be really fun. Yeah. Everybody take care out there. And if there are things you'd like Jeremy and I to chat about in this space that John has so graciously given us, especially during this time where, you know, it's topics are odd right now because we don't. We'd love to hear from you all on what you'd like Jeremy and I to share with
preferably
you.
Uplifting. We want to do some focus on some uplifting stuff, because there's so much craziness, and people are like, well, we need to talk about this and talk about that, because that's the situation we're in. Let's talk about the situations that we should be and could be in.
Exactly.
If we're you know, if we're positive. So
all right.
Cool.
Very good. Thanks everybody. Again, my name is Dave.
I'm Jeremy. Nice seeing you guys. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.